Link down below as always. Note that there could potentially be some spoilers. Known issues, they are still currently looking into several issues reported by the community in terms of during the side quest Blood Choke, Attica does not use the ballista. The upgraded every pouch type trophy still does not unlock for some players. Players reported no longer being able to trade with Abadund after completing his dialogue, still glitched. Players cannot place any waypoint markers on the open world within a 500 meter radius of Alloy's position. Players reported new items acquired not showing up. And they're also aware of streams being interrupted when playing at 1080p 60 FPS after saving at campfires. Fixes and improvements to the main quests. Fixed an issue in the main quest, the Broken Sky. It is now a clear sky. Now, where sometimes players were unable to interact with or follow Catalo after fast traveling away and progressing through the other side content, as well as an issue in the main quest, the Wing of the Ten, where in rare occasions the objective would not update upon returning to the base, blocking progression that has been addressed. Side quests fixed multiple conditional progression issues in side quest Thirst for the Hunt, as well as an issue in the side quest Boom or Bust, where overriding any of the machines during the Kill the Machines objective would not progress the quest, as well as multiple instances of machines that would get outside of the player's reach during side quest objectives, thus conditionally blocking progression. The AI is taken over. That's a smart move on their part. World activities fixed an issue in Rebel Camp Devil's Grasp, where sometimes the Search the Command Center objective could not be completed, as well as fixing an issue in the Rebel Camp First Forge, where the player can miss obtaining the Sunscourge bow by reloading a save after looting a Sarah. Note, this will not affect save games of people who lost, quote-unquote, the bow due to reloading the save after picking up the bow, but before talking to Erend. These players can revisit Asera's corpse. Asera's corpse will always respawn until players have looted the bow from her. Please take the bow so she can stop haunting the West. Fixed an issue with Kuruf's missing gear salvage contract, where the contract could not be completed if the player acquired multiples of the required items, as well as an issue in the Plainsong hunting grounds, where trials could sometimes not be started or completed, as well as fixed an issue with the melee pit's progression. Machines fixed an issue where the player level, instead of kill count, could influence whether Apex or evolved machines would spawn in the open world instead of a standard variant, as well as an issue with the bristleback where the Apex version would never spawn in the open world, or an issue with the Plowhorn where the Apex Plowhorn would not contain the Apex Plowhorn heart, or an issue with the Rockbreaker where missing claws could not be collected after the Apex Rockbreaker after detaching them. Give this video a thumbs down and I'll make sure there's something else that's missing after I detach it from you. As well as fixed an issue with the Slaughter Spine, where looting the Plasma Earth Blaster from the Apex Slaughter Spine would contain one metal shard instead of volatile sludge and crystal braiding. Tweaked drop rates for the Snap Moss Dispersal Tanks loot, as well as an issue with the Swooper, where the Swooper would stand in the air. Okay. As well as an issue with the Thunderjaw, where the regular non-Apex version would never spawn in the open world. Disciplined a Tide Ripper, caught showing off by slip and sliding across their designated habitat. As well as an issue with the Wide Maw, where its throat keeps spinning after it's been killed. Humans fixed an issue with humanoid enemies, where applying the killing blow with a spike thrower could cause the enemies to freeze in place instead of dying and falling to the ground. Weapons, armors, and skills rebalanced the unintentional change on legendary weapons. Fixed an issue with the update path for Deathseeker's Shadow. Increased impact damage for Advanced Hunter arrows with the first upgrade. As well as an issue with Deathseeker's Shadow and Lightning Hunter bow, where crafting Advanced Shock Hunter arrows would draw resources from the stash. Fixed an issue with shredders, where sometimes the reload and toss animation did not play, or where advanced shredders would use the same icon as normal shredders. or where the workbench menu states that the maximum number of advanced shredders is increased to 12, but the actual maximum number in game is 11. Rounded up, it's an even number. Fixed an incorrect statement in the tutorial text for the Purge Water tutorial. The text used to state, once in this state, their elemental attacks are disabled and become more vulnerable to frost and shock attacks. This has been changed to once in this state, their elemental attacks are disabled and their resistance to all elemental damage and states is reduced. Fixed an issue with coils and weaves, where mods that are meant to increase impact damage instead increase all damage, or where weaves that grant multiple defense increases show the plasma weave icon. Fixed an edge case, where pressing the throw action for rocks would perform a heavy melee instead. Stealth players don't celebrate too loud, the machines can still hear you. Especially if I kick you in the gonads where the sun don't shine, you'll be howling like the Bee Gees. Fixed an issue with hunter bows. I almost said hunter boys. Anyways. Where the reload animation plays incorrectly when using advanced elemental or targeting arrows. Players should now be able to fire arrows more rapidly. Fixed an issue with the Karja Wanderer, Nora Sentinel, and Nora Tracker armor, where resistances would decrease when upgrading them. UI/UX activating a new quest prompt when it shows up in the HUD will now correctly highlight that quest in the Quests tab in the journal, as well as an issue where trying to access a workbench after selling all weapons would result in an infinite black screen. It's funny how that infinite black screen that a lot of games are plagued with at times, it's never a white screen or a nice rainbow screen. It's always black. Just saying. Action prompts and quest markers can now be hidden in the custom HUD settings. For graphics, we've improved the visibility in the underwater section of San Francisco Challenge Ruin Hobart office. Changed the sort order on some vegetation assets to improve rendering time. Also made some adjustments to the dynamic resolution system to scale better. Performance and stability, multiple crash fixes, and multiple streaming fixes in-game and in cinematics. Other. Added subtitles for the lyrics of this title song, In the Flood. It's time for a karaoke session. Hopefully Simon Cowell is watching and he just completely scolds you or roasts you or whatever. Added a toggle option in the settings menu for loot actions. Fixed multiple control remapping conflicts. And finally fixed... Oh, it's not final. Fixed the default control conflict between mount light attack and select-deselect track while in focus mode. Fixed an issue where Alloy could become locked in an animation if a Valor Surge was activated while using a zipline, or an issue where killing a hovering Stormbird could sometimes result in its corpse being stuck in a floating position, or an issue where difficulty-related settings could be enabled in difficulty modes that did not allow them. Or multiple instances were fixed where Alloy could get stuck in the geometry. Multiple fixes to Alloy's animations, multiple audio fixes and improvements, multiple lighting fixes and improvements, and cinematics, as well as multiple fixes and improvements to body and facial animation and cinematics. So a lot of multiple fixes of shit, as well as improvements to NPC animations and to NPC props and settlements. Multiple localization fixes and improvements. And this line here could summarize just the whole goddamn patch notes. I've been narrating for 10 minutes. Multiple other bug fixes. And that's it. As always, if you liked the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. It does greatly help support the channel with the algorithm. When you didn't like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs down. And as always, I'll bend it in half, twist it, and break it off in your ass. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, naturally, that would be great. But if not, thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care, and maybe I'll see some of you in the next video. Bye for now.